Are you ready?
A Shot of Wrestling, episode 217. And wait, go.
So take a shot, boy. Is that the best that you got? We about to go live, but you're ready to rock. So take a shot. Oh, so take a shot. Oh, yeah. I'm a street breaker. I'm a heartbreaker. This is my dawn. I'm a Ramon Razor. Rick Flair, Nature Boy, about to seek and destroy. It's an SOW. Let me hear you make noise. Take a shot, boy. Is that the best that you got? We about to go live, but you're ready to rock. So take a shot.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 217 of A Shot of Wrestling. I'm your host at Michael J. Putty, joined, as always, Hollywood Mark Shawn. Mark, welcome back to the show.
What is up, Michael J. Putty? How you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good this week. Pretty excited. You know, Mark, I think you may know, but a lot of people don't know, all the hard work it takes for me to prepare for the show. I'm preparing all week. It's a hard time to set up, run down, edit this and that. So on shows like this, I'm happy to have somebody I could actually have an intelligent conversation with. Carson's here. Carson, welcome to the show. Finally, somebody of sound mind, sound intelligence.
See, this is the respect that I get, Carson. I hope that you get a little bit more than I do, man.
Well, boys, I'm glad to be back on the show, man. It's been a while, and I'm ready to rock.
I mean, he's taller, better looking. He cuts a better promo than you saw last year at your bachelor party.
Oh, wow. He just checked all the boxes, by the way.
At my bachelor party, by the way. I'd love to see anyone
by Carson in promos.
I did when I was drunk.
But we think of the classic, there's Hard Times, CM Punk's Pipe Bomb. We had Mark Schwann's I Am Professional Wrestling. A promo that will live in echelons of this show.
So it's going to be professional wrestling? I am professional wrestling.
Now, a bachelor party is made to get ripped apart as well as have fun, and I had to take the role of ripping you apart, and I had to do it on the mic.
And video,
yeah. There was a mic there.
Video documentary.
Oh, there was a mic. Yeah, there was a mic.
I was too drunk to notice.
Good times. Well, Carson, welcome back. Good seeing
How's it going, boys? Thanks for having me.
Usually when I haven't seen somebody in a while, I ask them, how's your year going? But I guess it's a shitty question to ask this year. How you doing? You staying safe? You out in Long Island, right?
Yeah, everything's been safe. Had to learn to pick up some new hobbies, and just honestly, just been watching nonstop fanless wrestling for the last 5 months.
Carson, actually, during this time, I've actually learned to finally say phys ed teacher. So
about time. Good.
It's all right. But no, if you're in my presence, you can say gym teacher. I don't care. But yeah, this is phys ed teacher, though.
No, dude, thinking that promo I was cutting. Well,
yeah.
You don't remember that Al Bundy?
Yeah, you were a few beers deep, to say the least.
Holy shit!
That is saying the least, yeah.
Because the fact is, you peaked, Al Bundy. Go ahead, talk about how many shots you scored in one game. No one cares anymore. I'm living my life. I'm living my dream. What do you do for a living? You're a physics. I can't even say what you do. Phys ed teacher.
You know you're talking bullshit.
You're a physics teacher? Is that what you say? Guess what? I always want to be in wrestling.
Popcorn, guys.
I always want to be professional wrestling. I am professional wrestling.
He tried like 8 times, and he gave up and went back to it. He still couldn't do it.
I know, he struck out twice trying to say that.
Couldn't believe it.
Oh, man.
Phys ed teacher, of all things to buck up on. Whoops.
Good times. Carson, anyway, welcome back to the show.
All right, boys, yeah. I'm excited.
You ready to get started, Mark? Get right into
Let's
it?
get right into it, man. We have a lot to talk about, I'm sure.
It's time for In the News with Michael J. Putty and Mark Schwab.
All right, gentlemen, let's get right into the news. Seth Rollins made some waves this week. He said, and I quote, "From coast to coast to sea to sea, I don't know if there has ever been this much incredible wrestling going on at one time. Taking nothing away from past generations, they inspired and paved the way, but we're damn sure keeping up and then some. Hashtag iron sharpens iron. Hashtag the golden age." So, gentlemen, are we in the golden age of professional wrestling right now, and we just don't know it?
Hell no. Hell no, man.
That's an
right
emphatic,
now,
that's an emphatic answer.
This minute he's talking about?
This day and age, yeah.
No, far from it. And for it to come from Seth Rollins, the man's got some nerve. I mean, he's been drinking his old Kool-Aid for the longest time. He's good in the ring, don't get me wrong. But, WWE is nowhere near what AEW is doing or what Impact is doing. Hey, buddy, I gave Impact a shout there, too. Give me that. But, indie wrestling has been shut down for the most part this whole time. So the golden age of wrestling, yeah, he probably could have gotten away with saying that in 2019. But right now, in this day of age, I mean, that's some balls.
I disagree. Yeah, I disagree. I don't think it's going to be remembered as the golden age of wrestling. But I will say it's more of like the age of like the ascension of wrestling, because we're seeing the upbringing right now of AEW, and how much they've grown in the last year. Slammiversay was a great show, which was very good. I think
a lot of big signings.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of these guys that we've been, cheering for, guys like EC3. And wanting to just get out of WWE, get out of that shadow and make a name for themselves elsewhere, that stuff's starting to happen. And because it's starting to happen, I think these other promotions, are getting a big boost because of that name value. So I really think that it's like the age of ascension in terms of like the entire wrestling umbrella. I think it's positive for wrestling. And I think it's really cool to see some other promotions actually be able to put on better shows than what WWE has over the last couple months.
Absolutely. I mean, WWE, they'll have the money. They always have the production value. They're always going to have that going for them. But what are they doing with it? I feel like AEW and Impact, they've been a lot more creative with it. And you know what? MLW, we can't count them out too. They've been making some moves quietly during this time as well, setting themselves up for a better future. So that's another promotion I'm excited to see about when these things start coming back to normal.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about how people view WWE though is that everyone, for whatever reason, I don't know what it is, but I shouldn't say every, but a lot of people, if you just go on Twitter, you can just read the comments. It's almost like they're hoping WWE fails, and it's like almost they're looking at the product through like these negative focals because they have all the money, because they have all the they have all the big stars, and because they have Vince McMahon, who is a very polarizing figure to many. It's almost like people are like hoping they fail, which I hate that. And I'm not saying, Mark, I'm not saying that's what you think, but it's what a lot of people are like hoping, and for whatever reason, they just have such this negative outlook on the product, and it's almost like AEW can't do anything wrong. Now, I'll tell you right now, I think AEW is putting on a better product, but the fact that AEW is right there neck and neck with WWE in terms of like product value that you're going to see from week in and week out, I think that's great for the entire
so soon. I mean, AEW is not even a year in yet, and already they're matching it, and they're doing a good job, and they're beating WWE in certain cases. I mean, like that speaks volumes for what the future holds for AEW and wrestling in general. So, but WWE, going to your point though, Carson, I agree. I mean, a lot of people, they just look at a system and they want the system to fail or whatever.
It's crazy because WWE, it's not hard to do what they do. Because you want to know why? You have Raw, you have Smackdown, okay, and obviously NXT, which I really count as like a separate entity almost in a way. But like Raw and Smackdown, you have to produce 5 hours of television each week with no fans. That's so tough to do.
What are you talking about? They have fans. They pay them. It's on their payroll.
Yeah. But like so I feel like we don't give, WWE enough credit for what they actually do. Like, they're gonna have some stinkers. But here's the thing, they're trying to be creative with what they have to work with.
Now, this is where I disagree with you on, Carson. Trying. This word trying. And I get it. We're in a situation that's unprecedented. But you know what? Like, trying we can use for AEW. Trying we can use for Impact. Trying we can use for Titan Championship Wrestling, which is a promotion in New Jersey right now, been running during this pandemic. Trying is what these other promotions are doing, and they're actually taking risks and succeeding. WWE, trying, they've been in the game for a long-ass time. They have the money. Trying isn't something they should be necessarily focused on. They should be focused on being the top dogs and doing what they do best. They have all the resources to do so instead of just trying and failing time and time and time again.
So what is something
case in point, the horror show, it was awful.
Well, I'll say this about the heart. I know we'll probably get into this later on.
We'll get to that later.
Yeah, I will say this though. I thought, in your point saying that, like, I feel like a lot of people grade their product based on like one thing. Like, for instance, like you said, the horror show was awful. Listen,
that's an example. That's one example.
Yeah.
Recently.
But like, I think a lot of times fans don't look at the good of actually what happened. For a particular show, they just look at the bad and they say, "This is why WWE's going to fail. This is why WWE. This is why. This is why. This is why." And I'm like, listen, there's a lot of good stuff that happened on that show as well. We saw Cesaro and Shinsuke finally get a push. And hopefully it's going to be a long one. And I just think like things like that aren't being appreciated in the product enough. Meanwhile, AEW and listen, I'm a huge mark for AEW. I think, and as I said before, I think it's the best product on TV right now. But
do you watch Impact?
Everything that I'm sorry, not to ignore that. I just want to just get to this point quick. Every well, no, I have, but obviously not as consistent as AEW and WWE. But I've tried some things that they've done, and it's almost like they can do no wrong, and it's almost like they're playing with this fan base that's behind them, and they want them to win, and they want them to take down the enemy WWE, and I hate the fact that like that has to be like that, and I kind of like how Seth Rollins is trying to put a positive light on all this competition when he's saying iron sharpens iron.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I like that. It's not the competition every week. It's not how it. Listen, I love the competition aspect of it, but that's not what it is. It's two great, and you added an Impact as well. So you can say it's three great promotions going right now that are giving us good wrestling. So you know what? It's not the golden era or the golden age of wrestling or whatever Seth Rollins said verbatim, but I think it's like the ascension age, as we're seeing all this ascension from these other products, and WWE is still there, and these products are just making their way up that mountain, and I think that's positive for every fan involved.
I think it's just a bold, outlandish statement, and I think honestly maybe it is a little bit of a marketing ploy on his part to do so. But
could be.
I think probably is. I mean, like he's one to like to create some controversy in social media. Making comments like these. But you know what? I mean, Golden Age, it really could have been if coronavirus didn't happen. I mean, you just have all these promotions going on. You have a lot of talent out there. And honestly, like, I know WWE's been like pulling their punches because they have these storylines that they want to put out there, but they'd rather have a bigger pop, or they'd rather have a real audience do so. So they've been pulling their punches. And, we're getting the product that we have now. It's kind of like a watered down version of it. So, I wouldn't necessarily have a problem with any of this because you could give them a pass. You could give all the promotions a pass with what's going
100%.
on. The problem is just making a statement like that, in my opinion.
I just thought what made WWE look really bad, though. Well, I mean, not make them look bad, but it's kind of funny. Like, you can just tell where the creativity of AEW versus the creativity of WWE was at first, and I'm sure, and I'm sure this is covered. Was when WWE stole the putting the wrestlers as the audience as the fans from AEW, that's when you knew like WWE is watching what's going on around them, and they have no choice but to adapt.
They had no choice
in order to stay where they are. And like, I do credit WWE for just kind of biting the bullet there and being like, you know what, AEW got us on this one, but we're going to take that idea and now we're going to use it. Because honestly, it's made Raw and SmackDown so much more watchable, than from when it was like just that silent, awkward, it was so, how awkward were those first couple episodes of SmackDown and Raw during the pandemic? Like, it was awkward.
Oh, you heard
it was like, it was almost, it was crazy. It was, meanwhile, AEW had this life to it. It was just like, God.
And AEW, I gotta say, AEW, you still feel a little bit more life than WWE right now.
Yes, I agree.
The fans, with the quote unquote fans,
pyro,
they sound so forced. But granted, Putty, I think you said a few weeks back, a lot of these guys are not indie guys in the WWE developmental. They've never been to a wrestling show before in their lives, so they have no idea what to do. Mm-hmm. So as opposed to AEW, they know what they're doing as far as like fan reactions. It sounds more organic over there.
Yeah.
Now, I learned about the golden age of film when I took my film classes. But during that time, it wasn't called the golden age of film. It was called the golden age of film after the fact. So in 20 years... will we look back and say this is the golden age of wrestling right now? You guys are saying no.
I would say
because right now we can't call it that, but in 20 years looking back,
no. But next year, I would say even 2019. Like I would say 2020 has an asterisk for everything. I mean? Like it's just
when we get
a really fucked up year.
When all the when Impact, when WWE, when AEW, when they get their fans back, it is going to be such a jolt for the entire wrestling world, and that I think is going to be the start of said golden era or golden age. Those are going to be some of the best shows I think we're going to see, because that's when it's going to be real.
Yeah.
That's when it's going to be back and it's going to be real again, that real feel. And remember, we're using all this time to develop a lot of these young talents. AEW, everyone's still developing AEW for the most part, outside of like Jericho and Cody Rhodes.
This is actually a good time for AEW to develop those younger talents.
They needed that.
They definitely needed that, for sure.
They needed the fan. Yeah, sorry to interrupt, but they needed the fan to sit at home and actually watch, all these young up-and-coming superstars that they're going to have over the next 5 to 10 years. And now you can put them in the seats in the arenas, and now there's going to be some sort of emotional attachment, because now they've been doing a good character development, much better than what they did last year. And I really think once this pandemic's over and we can fill those seats again, that will be the start of the potential, golden age or golden era of wrestling.
1,010% agree with that.
Yeah.
In other news, Edge and Daniel Bryan apparently very hands-on with the creative process. Apparently they've joined the WWE writing team. Edge and Daniel Bryan joined the writing team a few weeks ago, and they have much more creative input than most superstars. They're given scripts, and they have access to the notes from the meetings with Vince McMahon themselves. They are always a part of the discussion when it comes to who gets pitched and what gets pitched to Vince McMahon. They're also in a position to pitch other ideas for other people. What about these two? Do you think they qualified them to join the creative process and not others? Like, why are they leaning on these two people? Are those two right choices?
Yeah, go for it, Carson.
Sorry, yeah, I think they are, because I think they are two of the better psychology wrestlers that we've seen. In terms of like in-ring psychology.
Good point.
Knowing how to tell a story inside the ring, and I think they also have a pulse on what today's fan wants to see. And I'm hoping with Daniel Bryan, I mean, with his hands in the creative process, maybe we see some of the smaller guys get some pushes. And I think it's a good idea. I think it's always smart to have talent have a say in what's going on, because they're the ones that have the true feel on, the pulse on the company of what's going on inside the ring and outside the ring and what the fans want to see, as opposed to, the end-all be-all of Vince McMahon, even though no matter what, it's going to be his choice anyways. But I think it's very healthy, especially those two guys, to, have their hands on the product a little bit.
You made a good point about Daniel Bryan with the smaller guys. Do you think he had his hands in tonight on Smackdown? Number one contendership for the IC Championship was 4 guys from 205 Live.
I'm sure that he definitely had his hands in that. I mean, you see those 4 guys, never really got much of an opportunity. And, at least 2 of those guys that we know for sure are in Daniel Bryan's little crew. Yeah. It's Shorty G and Drew Gulak. Now, touching on Carson's point here, with Daniel Bryan and Edge being in the creative right here, I mean, it makes sense. Edge is not going to have that long of. Really, Carson? Are we doing this? Are we doing this?
The apple pecan salad from Wendy's is phenomenal, by the way.
Going back to my point here, Edge doesn't have a lot of years left in his career. Daniel Bryan, we all know this is the last contract he's going to have as an in-ring performer. He's made that very clear. So this is obviously the next step for them possibly.
Yes,
Daniel Bryan, well respected in the locker room, great mind for the business. I could see him as a producer, as a coach, as an agent, writer, possibly creative right now, as we can see. Edge has been in Hollywood for how long now? So Edge has got that creative mind and also knows how to work in the ring and knows the boys and the girls in the locker room. So I think this is actually a very good pairing right here.
No, from what I heard, a lot of people are choosing AEW over WWE because of creative freedom. If Edge and Daniel Bryan are somewhat successful, do you think WWE will give more creative freedom to other people?
It's going to be a slow process. I don't necessarily think that you're going to see that difference right away, possibly over time. And I think, depending on which superstars that you give that to. Obviously, like the higher ups will have more creative freedom say, opposed to like, Shorty G. But time will tell. Obviously, this whole thing came to be like AEW. They're doing that too with like, with the guys in the back, with the Cody, Young Bucks, Omega, Jericho to an extent. They obviously have their hands in creative, and AEW, you're seeing better product for that. Triple H obviously has a hand in NXT with Shawn Michaels back there as well. Regal, they have a good supporting crew back there. Who do you really have in Raw and SmackDown doing that yet? Bruce Pritchard, who hasn't done anything in the ring since God knows when. So, you need some young blood in there.
Yeah, and as much as WWE, gets ridiculed for not adapting with the times, you have to admit something. Whenever there has been a rival promotion, and they've been on the ropes a little bit, and you can say this is the most they've been on the ropes, quote unquote, like in a while.
Well, they haven't had competition, and God knows when.
Exactly. They've always adapted when they've had competition.
Yeah,
and I think once that word got out of AEW gives all that creative freedom to their talent, WWE is going to make the adapt. They're going to adapt themselves, and you have to, or else you're not going to be able to sign big names, and guys are going to go to AEW. And they're going to flourish over there, even though money always talks. Money
always does talk.
But they've always adapted, and I think that this Edge and Daniel Bryan, this is them partially adapting slowly to the new norm of what professional wrestling has become.
And going on top of that, of course, Putty always calls me an AEW mark, right? That I am anti-WWE. Couldn't be further from the case. I love WWE. I've been a WWE guy for all my life. And actually, I'm very excited about AEW. I'm excited about the things that AEW is doing right now because I think, yes, I agree with what you're saying. WWE has always thrived when they had competition. I feel like they've been stagnant for the longest time. Mm-hmm. They've gotten complacent. They've gotten lazy. We had moments of greatness, but, it wasn't consistent.
Yeah.
And, I'm hoping to go with AEW Impact, hitting their stride. I'm hoping it pushes WWE to a level that we haven't seen since the 90s.
Yeah.
Speaking of the 90s, in other news, Lita hasn't wrestled in quite a while, but she's not 100% retired, and she would make a return to the ring if things could work out. During After the Bell podcast, she spoke to Corey Graves and was asked about a possible return. She didn't say no. She said that she's down to make it happen. She's given a ton of credit to the current women's roster while saying they don't need her. Do you want to see Lita return? And if so, who would you like to see her go against?
This is going to come off so bad because I love Lita and I loved her in her prime, and
she had a great, retirement. Quote unquote. She ended her career with a nice bow on it too. So
guys, we're at the point right now where we need to see, now with Becky Lynch, currently out, with the pregnancy. Now you have Charlotte Flair, she's recovering from her, her surgery. This is the time we need to see the Bianca Belairs, the Shayna Baszlers. Yep. This is the time we need to see those girls rise to the top, those women rise to the top. If we just keep bringing back old talent and recycling old talent over again, they're never going to get over unless they're using that talent to push some of the younger talent. And if they're going to use Lita the right way to get over the Shayna Baszlers, the Bianca Belairs, the Asukas, and you can go down the whole list, then okay, I'm all for it. But if you're just going to bring them back just so and they're going to just take up the shine that some of this younger talent that we need to get to that superstar level so that the company can survive without the Charlotte Flairs and without the Becky Lynches, they need to be used the right way. And if Lita's used the right way to get the younger talent over, I'm all for it.
Right.
Cut you off quickly. I think we talked about that last week with Mickie James. That's what Mickie James was brought in for, to put over the young talent, but she's not there either. Do you think Lita is somebody that will put? Well, I know she will, but will that tarnish her legacy?
No, I feel like they have to do it right. I don't know if they use Lita the same way they use Mickie James, then 100% yes, that will tarnish her legacy. I think Lita used similarly to how Trish Stratus was used when she came back for a bit. Mm-hmm. I keep on saying I would love to see Michelle McCool come back. But I would just like to see the same way how Carson's talking about with Lita, and I agree with him. Used in the right way, not used to get over themselves. Definitely would have to win a match or two somewhere, but they would have that big match to put someone else over. That's what needs to happen here, to pass the torch, if you will. Michelle McCool versus Charlotte, I'd love to see. Obviously, Lita. Would I love to
3
see
weeks in a
her
row you
put
mentioned
over?
that. 3 weeks in a row you mentioned that match.
I'm hoping to see it. I'm hoping to see it, man.
That's awesome.
I'm going to keep on seeing it till the day we till the day we have it, if it happens. Lita, I feel like would have a good matchup with Rhea Ripley. I feel like a match like that would be a marquee match. You know, Rhea Ripley, as young as she is, you know, she's red hot. You know, she's definitely got a lot of momentum behind her, and you know, a win for Rhea Ripley against Lita would definitely put her completely over.
Those are two badass girls right there.
Absolutely. What about you, Carson? Who do you want to see Lita put over? What match would you want to see if Lita came back?
I would love to see Shayna Baszler and Lita and kind of get Baszler over as a monster heel and really destroy Lita. Almost like
Brock Lesnar, John Cena?
Yes, almost like Brock Lesnar, where you actually watch the match and you're like, holy shit. Like, he's being booked. He's a monster, you know. And we need that. We need somebody else like that. We need a female like that. And I think she's the perfect. Like what happened at was it Elimination Chamber. I didn't mind that. I really didn't mind that. I was like, I get what's happening here. And you know what? I didn't like how that was on. You know, that was on last. But I got what they were doing. They were getting her over to make her a legitimate opponent for Becky Lynch. And I think Shayna Baszler has that look. And I think if Lita came back and just got completely squashed, and not just squashed like during the match, but even after the match, to the point where like, you know, oh, Lita's seriously hurt, she's out for a while, you know, that gets somebody like that over, boom, you have your next monster heel again.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be a smart move, especially like for someone like Shayna Baszler, who's a legitimate badass. You know, I mean, they've been toying around with that. It's just, again, you know, with the consistency and creative, like it seems like Vince McMahon is 1 minute like he's sold on her, the next minute he's like, meh, you know, time to move on. You can't really do that.
Yeah.
Moving on, finally, another news. Let's end on some happy note. Angel Garza got married to TV host Zadie Lozano. I'm probably butchering that name. She uploaded a bunch of pictures to their Instagram and videos. So congratulations to the happy couple. Charlie Caruso, if you're upset, please hit me up at Michael J. Putty. That's Putty with 2 Ds. And I'll be your shoulder to cry on. But congratulations to the happy couple.
Cheers to them.
We love, right?
Cheers to them. I love Angel Garza, by the way. I love Angel Garza.
I love what he's doing. I'm looking forward to him splitting up because I think he can do good things on his own.
Yeah.
All right, anything else in the news you guys want to talk about before we move on?
How about you, Carson?
Nothing particular, but you know, I know they say it's not a ratings war, but it was very interesting to see AEW completely dominate NXT on the ratings this past week.
Yeah, I have to say I'm surprised by that. AEW, you know, they had a consistently good show all throughout. NXT definitely had some good moments though itself. So I was surprised to see it was like that far off there in the ratings.
Yeah, I mean I just think it's just the consistency of the product that you get every Wednesday night from AEW. It's at least for me, I'm always DVRing NXT and I'm always dialed in AEW. You know, when we're watching. So
I'm the opposite.
Yeah. Like that's my first choice, and you know, just kudos to them, man. You know, they're still a very, you know, young company, and I just want them to consistently surpass that. You know, get over that 1.0 rating.
Do you think if they moved it to another night, do you think they would do better or worse, or about the same?
Well, you can't put them up against SmackDown and Raw yet. You just can't.
Tuesday and Thursday are basketball.
Yeah, I think Wednesday. Yeah, I mean, but normally for the NBA though, yeah. Well, see the NBA though. That's primetime TNT NBA is Tuesday Thursdays. Yeah, I think they're fine where they are.
Yeah,
you know, you can't put them against SmackDown Raw because there's too many WWE loyalists that are still going to watch WWE no matter what. Yeah, and I'm you know one of those as well. That's why.
But given the time right now, I mean, you know, Raw and SmackDown, and I'm sure we're going to get into this TV takedown. You know, Raw and SmackDown for the last couple of months, I would say SmackDown has been like pretty much unwatchable. You know, so if they were to change the night, and granted with logistics and whatnot, it would be very hard for them to do that right now. But you know, if they did change the night to Friday during all of this, I think AEW they would see a rise and climb there.
Also, Friday night's kind of a graveyard for TV ratings, though. Friday isn't the ideal time slot.
True.
I think what AEW wants to do is that they want to build Wednesday as their night. Like Wednesday night is AEW night, and I think they have to stay with that. I don't think you can't start going up against that conglomerate of WWE, SmackDown on Fox and on Raw, and then Raw that's been going steady for all these years. I think make Wednesday your night and make Wednesday AEW night, and I think they should stick with that. And make that their brand.
I mean, completely different story, but that's what happened when Impact went against Raw head-to-head live.
Yeah,
it completely ruined any momentum they had because they lost a huge chunk of their core audience. So
but Raw also was good then, and it wasn't 3 hours all the time. So
yeah, but you're still
that's what I think about. I mean, I agree. I think the AEW
they're still going to break that 1.7, 1.8 rating no matter what.
Can you see possibly down the line
AEW
going head-to-head with Monday Night Raw?
Maybe in 5 years, 6 years, maybe, probably not, maybe. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think they want to.
Do they really want to? That's another good point, too.
Speaking of TV, let's go on to some TV Takedown.
It's time for this week's TV Takedown.
All right, guys, let's get into some television this week. Good week of TV. A lot of good stuff happened, surprisingly. Mark Eater was talking about how SmackDown's been unwatchable. I actually felt like SmackDown was pretty good this week. First time in a while.
Some moments.
Kind of enjoyed it this week.
Some moments.
So let's get right into it. Carson, you are our guest. So this week's TV Takedown, floor is yours.
I'm going to focus on Monday Night Raw this week. I think Raw's been putting on a much better product as of late, especially compared to in the beginning of the pandemic. And I think they're starting to adapt well with I think they're starting to really adapt well in the unfortunate environment that they have to put on the show in. But the one thing I'm going to take away from Raw is actually something that's really annoying me, and it's a personal bias of mine because I'm a big Shawn Michaels fan. He's my favorite wrestler of all time. So anybody who replicates anything he does, I'm automatically going to love. Therefore, I love Dolph Ziggler. Mm-hmm. And the one thing I don't love about what's happening with Dolph Ziggler is that he's just being used as fodder just to get the champion over. And now I understand the psychology behind that. You want good matches. You want your champion to beat legitimate contenders. But I want the Dolph Ziggler push, and I want a serious push. Not the ones he's gotten in the past. I want a serious push, whether it's with the Intercontinental title, which would be amazing. Just not somebody who's just going to lose every match to say Drew McIntyre. And him begging for that rematch is just going to be Dolph Ziggler, hopefully, not hopefully, but it's going to be Dolph Ziggler just taking another loss again to the champion. And then what's going to happen to him? I'd rather see him as the upper mid-carder who was on top in pretty much where AJ Styles is in right now. That sort of role. So that's just my personal takeaway, because just seeing them continue this Drew McIntyre, Dolph feud, him begging for that rematch, kind of annoying, because I'm like, this is going to be Dolph taking another loss again.
Right. So it's pretty much Dolph Ziggler getting fed to the wolves one more time.
Yeah.
How many times have we seen this play out? Dolph Ziggler is phenomenally talented. He's great in the ring. He's got a fantastic look. The man sells like no other.
Great promos.
Absolutely.
Great promos, passionate, and he does a lot outside of the ring as well for WWE. And, considering how much WWE has signed him for, you would think that they would do more with him. Instead, it seems like he's just, putting people over, which is not necessarily bad. But, we've never seen that push that you really talked about with Dolph Ziggler. They had some opportunities there with him when he won the Money in the Bank, when he was like the last Survivor Series with Triple H and all that. He had these opportunities there. And I don't necessarily blame him, unless maybe he's rubbing some people the wrong way in the back. I don't necessarily know. Dolph Ziggler came out recently talking about how, at one point they said, you'll never get over as a blonde, dye your hair black. And he did. And they're like, we fucked up. Go back to being blonde. They didn't really know what to do with it. So Dolph Ziggler would just want to be I'm just going to do me. And I don't know if that rubbed people the wrong way or not. But, here we are. Dolph Ziggler's still here. So obviously they see some value in him. But, us as fans, we see how good Dolph Ziggler is, and it's just, I think people have gotten to the point, it's like, they're not really going to do anything with him, so why should we invest into him?
They've been so
unfortunate.
Yeah, they've been so like hot and cold on him, and as a fan, the more the product, the more WWE is hot and cold with certain guys, you just get turned off by it because it's like, okay, he's getting a push, then he gets taken away. Push, taken away, push, taken. And when you go through that same cycle, it's almost just like you can't believe like this storyline right now with him and Drew. It's like you can't believe that Dolph is going to win that match. Because
if it was in a different case scenario, like if Dolph Ziggler was already built up to be like that main event guy consistently, then yes, I would be more so invested into this rivalry here. But yeah, I agree. I mean, we know
he's just being
we
fed
know
to the
why
wolves.
it's the reason.
Yeah.
And I was hoping it was going to end at Extreme Rules. I was hoping it was like a quick one-off. And Dolph, and then Dolph would maybe move into that upper mid card and take over that upper mid card, which I think is perfectly okay. Because I think as an upper mid carder, and you're getting that AJ Styles push, per se, in that upper mid card right now, I think that's great for him. I think that he would thrive in that role, and he would be a legitimate contender maybe down the line for the title if he puts on good matches and continues to do what he does.
It's crazy at this point in his career. It's almost, you're talking about we pretty much have to rebuild him up, and you're right.
Yeah. And I'm just seeing, Dolph Ziggler just laying in the ring, getting up and praying. I'm just like, he's just going to look like a fool because he's begging for the rematch, and now he's going to take another loss. Then what? And then he's going to go right back down to the bottom of the totem pole. That's what annoyed me about this week's TV. Otherwise, I thought it was a good week of wrestling.
I'm actually surprised Dolph Ziggler's back in WWE. I'm so surprised that he resigned because I know he felt certain ways about how he was being used, but I guess everyone's got a price.
I was thinking the same thing about Dolph Ziggler before, but isn't this weird? We're having this conversation about two-time world champion.
Right,
this guy's a two-time world champion, and we're having this conversation about
world champion? 5?
Yeah,
5 times.
But see, that's the problem. No one remembers those title runs because when he had the title, what memorable thing happened? Name me one thing he did with that title where you were like, oh wow, we have a real champion on our hands.
Exactly.
He won it. That was the memorable part.
Yep.
He what?
He won it. That was the memorable part. That was the most memorable thing.
And that love story with Vicky Guerrero.
Yeah, which was weird. He didn't necessarily win that one. It was like all shenanigans.
So it's just we're having this conversation about rebuilding a two-time world champion. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's wild.
Mark,
it's absolutely wild.
The floor is yours.
All right, so there are definitely a few moments here in Threat TV that I could have chosen. I actually, at one point, was even thinking about Impact. That tag team title match was lights out. I mean, I haven't seen a really good tag team wrestling match like that in a while. But you know what? I have to give the edge here to Wednesday night. Wednesday night does it again. And, Putty, I see you rolling your eyes. It's not AEW. I'm going to give the nod to NXT here. That triple threat match between Bronson Reed, Roderick Strong, and Johnny Gargano, I thought was lights out.
Oh, shit. I got a notification on my phone.
What's that?
The temperature in hell just dipped between 32 degrees. Wow, it's crazy. No, I'm sorry to cut you off. Continue.
Well played.
Thank you. No, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Continue.
I thought I haven't seen a good triple threat like that in a while. It was great action. It was good storytelling right there. I actually assumed right off the bat that Johnny Gargano would be the guy to take the WNS to
Me too.
To enter a slot into a ladder match for a big North American title.
3-way match, yeah.
Yeah. So I thought, okay, I'm looking at these guys here. All right, it's going to be Gargano.
Easily.
The fact that Bronson Reed took it and did really well. I mean, I don't really know much about Bronson Reed. I'm not going to lie. But man, do I want to know more about him. Because, man, that guy can go. And Roderick Strong, I mean, that was probably the best I've seen him perform in a while. The king of the backbreakers for sure. Dude, honestly, lights out for that. That was a fantastic match. I don't know what Meltzer's giving it, but that's a Schwan 5 for me.
It's more important on the show.
Right.
There's a couple things I want to talk about this week. So it's kind of hard to narrow it down. Of course, aside from the EC3 making an appearance on Impact, and we all know how I feel about EC3. Made it very clear a couple months ago. Last couple weeks, I have picked the NXT main event. I think week in and week out, the main event NXT has stolen the show of the week. This week is no different. But to change things up, I'm going to go with what you just mentioned, the main event of Impact, the tag team championship. I haven't seen I haven't seen a tag team title match like that since I can remember. Those two teams worked fantastically well against each other. A lot of great back and forth action.
Chemistry.
Yeah, it was. And the returning Motor City Machine Guns, who I've heard a lot about back in the TNA days, now come back 10 years later and recapture the tag team championships, breaking the streak of the North. It's wow. It's just the tag team division and Impact right now is on point.
I only know of them from reputation. That was my first time seeing them compete, and damn, dude, I feel like I want to go back to the archives and watch more of their matches because that was wild.
Yeah, I think Impact overall, coming off Slammiversary, they had a new graphics, new intro video, new theme song, new belts. I just feel like Impact is now obviously a reset episode. They're relaunching themselves, and what a way to do the new Impact episode 1 with this main event. It was fantastic. And
that was really well done. That was actually that was a good Impact all around.
Yeah, I mean, coming off a successful Slammiversary, and then just even something so subtle as just get graphic changes, just for TV, it just gives your product so much more momentum. Even when they changed up Raw a couple of years back, I was like, wow, this is a brand new feel, and you're so much more dialed into what they're giving you because of the graphics. And I'm hoping that this leads to great success down the road. Imagine having 3 phenomenal promotions battling each other out each week for rating supremacy. I mean, most likely not going to happen, but if it does, then we'll go back to Seth Rollins' golden age of wrestling. Then we'll be in it.
100%. 100%. I love how you brought that full circle.
Yeah. And quickly, I wanted to mention, Mark, you mentioned earlier how I always call you an AEW Mark.
Yes.
I don't really mean that as a negative thing. I just use it to bust your chops. But there are a lot of anti-WWE marks, like Carson mentioned earlier. So when I heard about this bar fight, I automatically had an eye roll. I'm like, I don't want to watch fucking this. It's going to be stupid. That bar fight between Sheamus and Jeff Hardy, I'm just going to say it right now, far better than I thought it was going to be. They made up total use of that space. It was more enjoyable than I thought it would be. That was an AEW match. Those guys would have loved it. So I think just people are going to hate on this because it's a WWE match, like Carson mentioned earlier in the opening segment. But I just want to give some love to that bar fight because it was much better than I thought it was. And that's me kind of low expectations.
I personally hated the ending because Jeff Hardy is not necessarily that character, like a mystical character that has powers all of a sudden. For me, that was thrown out of nowhere.
It's the face paint. There's something with the face paint. It's a different character he embodies. It's Nero. I forget what character he embodies with the face paint.
But I agree. I think
it was hokey.
Sometimes they overproduce.
Yeah.
Just like the Swan fight, I thought it was just super overproduced. Just like you're watching, it's like, what's going on here?
Right.
But I kind of have a question to kind of branch off on a tangent real quick. What do you guys feel about them using Jeff Hardy's real life, problems and challenges that he's had to overcome as a storyline? Because they've done it before. They've done it with Jake Roberts in the mid '90s. I think it was 1996. They've done it with Hawk, Legion of Doom. Yeah, Hawk, right. Legion of Doom.
They did that with Hawk a little bit more in a tasteless way, though, in my opinion. Jeff Hardy is clearly, obviously Jeff Hardy gave his consent to do this.
Of course, but how do you feel about? Yeah,
I'm happy it's over. I'm happy it's over.
I'm happy it's over too. But,
do you
Jeff
feel
Hardy,
weird watching it?
I felt weird when it first started with that car crash.
Yeah,
I felt weird.
Yeah,
then they kind of saved themselves a little bit. I saw that we're going with it, but the way it started was really uncomfortable.
The way it started was pretty.
Even the urine tests, like in the middle of the ring.
Yeah.
It got a little far. I mean, I understood what they were looking to do. You want to see this man who we all know the life story of Jeff Hardy. You want to see him overcome and be the hero. A man that has a troubled past, a man that has demons, overcome against someone that's been trying to back him in the corner, trying to get in a relapse and everything. It does make for a good feel-good story, but the way it was done, the way it started off hot. A little too hot for the audience. It's like, whoa, I don't know how I feel about this. Makes me feel a little uncomfortable.
I mean, I'm all for like a good worked shoot storyline, but I feel like when you're putting these challenges on TV because there are people that are watching that are going through the same stuff, and when they're I just feel a little weird sometimes, when you have Jeff Hardy in the middle of the ring, taking a piss test, or when you have him, it made it seem like, he got in a drunk driving accident, to open up that storyline. I felt weird. I'm just like,
it's very weird. No, it's very weird. I think
it's awkward to watch. Yeah, I feel weird watching it.
I think they're kind of going with maybe like this guy overcame those demons. So yes, we all battling demons. This guy overcame it. Took a while, but he finally has his life back on track. I think it's kind of as a motivation, like this bully picking on him.
Well, as long as it doesn't have him getting pushed off the Titantron drunk like they did with Hawk, I'll be happy with it.
I think this is the blow off. I think it's over, so I'm hoping we can just move on from this. And
I hope it's over. Yeah.
I agree.
From what I heard, there's big things in the future with Jeff Hardy, so this is probably just done. You mentioned the Swamp Fight. I think for the first time since I can remember, there was 2 pay-per-views this weekend. Did you guys watch both of them?
Yes.
Carson?
Yes.
All right, so let's start with Extreme Rules. Let's get that out of the way. Carson, the horror show that was Extreme Rules.
I know there's a lot of people out there that are saying the horror show at Extreme Rules was exactly that, a horror show, and it was god-awful to watch. I thought the actual undercard was actually decent, and I didn't hate the booking either. And I may be in the minority on that, but as I mentioned earlier, Cesaro and Shinsuke, they got their push, they got their titles, and I hope there's good things after that. Bayley, I hated Bayley as a face, and I didn't even like her as a heel, but she's starting to annoy me now in the right way.
Good.
And the more and I'm sure everyone understands what I mean when I say that. And I just love this little dynamic duo between her, with her and Sasha Banks. But Sasha Banks not winning the title, not winning, but Bayley still, it's just like kind of, I don't know. I feel like there's going to be a blow up there soon, and I feel like they're just kind of playing with it. And these little subtle things that are happening or that are being said to them is leading to like a good, a good ending, and what I think is going to be a good rivalry between the two. I also thought the Swamp Fight was a little bit overbooked or overproduced, as I mentioned earlier. Half the time I didn't know what was going on, but I think everything before that was solid, though. I really did. Yeah.
No, I agree with you.
Yeah, I feel like they were trying to recapture the magic of what was the Firefly Funhouse at WrestleMania. That was a one-off thing that worked, and I feel like in a way they got lucky with that because they had the right person there with John Cena working with Bray Wyatt. This felt like they were trying too hard.
Yeah.
With the Swamp Fight, it just didn't necessarily work for me. I had 1 or 2 moments I was like, "Oh, that's cool," but that was not it. And I gotta say, I wanted to come in here and bash Extreme Rules, the horror show, just completely just rip it a new one because it was bad. It was just plain old bad. If the ending didn't happen the way it did, like the awkwardness of the ending of Sasha Banks and Asuka, I would have said that match was awesome because the match itself, the in-ring action was fantastic, but the ending just killed it for me. But the one thing I have to say, Carson, because you did remind me, and here's my takedown for it, a good moment here for Extreme Rules, I will say, is the Bayley-Nikki Cross match. That match, I knew going in, I knew Bayley was going to come out the winner.
Yeah.
But, I didn't necessarily see it being as good of a match as it would have been. And Nikki Cross, I was never a huge fan of her in-ring work.
Same.
But, I got to say, her and Bayley had good chemistry in there. I liked the storyline, how it was going. I loved how the ending happened with Sasha Banks, throwing in her boss ring in there. And that's how Bayley wound up winning, stealing the win, kind of a la like Ric Flair back in the day. Obviously a beatable champion, but a champion that finds a way to win nonetheless. It keeps the storyline going, if you will. It actually makes Nikki Cross look better, and it builds her up more, which is something that, we need more women to do. Is in the division right now where it's weakening because you have two main eventers leave at the same time pretty much. So you need more women in that division to step up. And Nikki Cross, obviously, the grooming to do that. Sasha Banks, Bayley stepping up to that leadership role. That's my one takedown moment there from Extreme Rules.
And can I just say one more thing I love that they did during, and to go back to the Sasha Banks-Asuka match, the one thing they did during the match I loved is when Sasha Banks I think she's on her knees, and she goes, I need the title. Yeah. And what I think that is a subtle feeling of jealousy because Bayley has the title and she doesn't.
There's all the hints over there.
Exactly, and
for this.
And I may be wrong, but it has you thinking, because now Sasha Banks is clearly desperate, and the match, yes, it ended in a no contest, and obviously nobody likes seeing that these days. It's not the '90s anymore where you can do that. No one cares.
It's not like I don't like seeing that. I like seeing that. I wouldn't have minded if they did it in a better way. It was awkward. It was just how they executed it was awkward. The idea was good, but the execution was awkward. I can completely see that. Yeah.
But I just did like that, in that match towards the end when she was doing that, when she was screaming at the top of her lungs, because it just really shows that something down the line is going to happen. And what is it? We don't know, but I'm on board with that entire storyline, and how Sasha and Bayley are going to be tag champs, and maybe have like a HBK Diesel breakup, like when they were tag team champions back in '95. Yeah.
All eyes on them right now. Buddy, what do you got for Extreme Rules?
Oh, it's my turn? Oh, great. There was supposed to be Sasha Banks versus Bayley at WrestleMania. They pushed it back. It's supposed to be Sasha Banks versus Bayley at SummerSlam. We're not sure how that's going to go yet. Again, I think they're saving that rivalry like we talked about earlier to be in front of a crowd. I missed the first hour of Extreme Rules. I mentioned it last week how I think the undercard, like Carson was saying, was pretty good. Bayley, Nikki Cross I wanted to watch. Sasha Banks, Asuka I wanted to watch. There was a lot of matches I wanted to watch. One match I really didn't want to watch, and thankfully I missed it, was the Seth Rollins Rey Mysterio match. I thought the match itself would have been good. The rumor was they're going to use CGI to show somebody pulling their eye out of somebody else. Now, the next day, I said I missed that match. The next day, I see it on TMZ. See the pictures, I see the video clip. I'm happy they didn't go that route. I'm happy they went with Rey Mysterio just covering his eye. You see a little bit of a white ball sticking out, but that could have just been whatever.
Right.
So I'm happy they didn't go the cheesy, campy, like Mortal Kombat, ripping the guy out CGI effect. They went more like, all right, the eye popped out of the socket. So I'm happy they went more like the, I'm not sure, like realistic route.
The match for what it was good.
I'm happy they didn't go the campy, cheesy route.
The Seth Rollins, the action between Seth Rollins and Rey Mysterio was really good. They made the best with what they had. The ending, I mean, we all knew the ending was going to be pretty much shit no matter what, because none of us are going to buy this.
The eye for an eye stipulation gave the match such a limited ceiling, because you knew the ending was going to be something like, all right, this isn't believable, but I mean, right. I get what they're trying to do, but it's not. It didn't work for me, but I did think they put on a great match. I think they did that. Yes,
they did the best with what they had, right.
And I was not expecting anything less.
I just hope we never get this match ever again.
I'm sure we won't.
Yeah.
Slammiversary, the one I was really hyped to watch. Carson, Mark, you guys watch it in full?
Yes,
I did.
So, am I the only asshole who couldn't find Slammiversary? So I ordered it previously. I ordered a couple days ahead of time. I think right after the show Friday night. And I find out it pops up, but it's on channel 1850. I think it was. I'm like, I haven't even heard of this channel. But I buy right away. Buy, record. Let's do it. Let me get it over, so I don't think about it anymore. Saturday night rolls around. I find out my channel is 1850. I go to 1850. It's buried amongst the adult video channels. Okay? It's right above Playboy, Hustler, and like the gay channel. I'm like, why is it this on this channel? So I'm watching it.
I was joking with you about that too.
10 minutes into it. Not even 10 minutes, like 5 minutes into it, right for their first match, I'm like, oh no. My ass ordered the standard definition streaming of Slammiversary, so I called the cable company. I'm like, listen, I made a stupid mistake. I didn't even know. I couldn't find the HD. Is there HD? If there's this channel, I go to order it. I have to pay again.
Oh, no way.
So I watched one of the greatest reviews of the year, First World Problems, in standard definition.
That is the definition of first world problems. Way to go, Karen.
Son of a bitch. Damn you, Mark, for keeping me up so late.
Me?
Yeah.
You start the show incredibly.
Carson, I was waiting for you. Carson, Slammiversary.
I just love the nostalgia of seeing Ken Shamrock back in a wrestling ring.
Yeah.
Because I always thought Ken Shamrock was one of those guys who I think he didn't get, he didn't fulfill his push in WWE, and I feel like there was so much meat left on the bone with him when he left WWE back when, and it was just good to kind of see him back in the ring, albeit at a much older age. But it just brought like a little sense of nostalgia to me just seeing him in there, and I have to say, I'm happy for them. I'm happy for them as a company because they needed this.
Yeah.
You know, they needed this momentum. They see the success of WWE. Obviously, they're probably never going to reach that. But then you see this embryonic company, AEW, come out of nowhere, and all of a sudden, boom, they are the hottest thing going right now in terms of just like the product that they're giving us every Wednesday and for every single pay-per-view. They needed something like this, and I think they definitely delivered. And, you know, you have a great main event. You know, you had the 5-way elimination match. That went 25 minutes. I'm happy for them, and I hope they build, as we were talking about earlier, the momentum off this. I hope they withstand that momentum and hopefully turn into a third promotion that's going to, you know, make noise, you know, with what they're giving us right now.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, definitely shots were fired. I mean, you have like all these free agents from WWE come on pretty much like a course of like one night or a course of 24 hours between Slammiversary and Impact. You know, but I gotta say, you know, my moment, my takedown moment was the match of Deonna Purrazzo versus Jordynne Grace. I thought that match. I was into the storyline going into the show. You know, like Deonna Purrazzo, we've seen her bits of her shine in WWE, but man, they really let her go in Impact, and she's more of a technical wrestler than I ever gave her credit for. Holy shit, she worked that arm the way how Bret Hart works the leg.
Yep,
it was great to see, and Jordynne Grace obviously doing everything she could. She was selling very well. It wasn't like it was a believable match. It wasn't anything. It wasn't a spot fest. You know, every move was done for a reason, and I dug it, man. And congratulations to Deonna Purrazzo being the new Knockout champion.
Yeah, I thought that match stole the show. I thought it was a great match. I love the build to it. I love, like I said, really impressed by Deonna and the in-ring ability. Like, we didn't really see much. She was an enhancement talent on Raw because we did not watch NXT back then. But I was just a little surprised they gave her the title so soon. Because basically she wasn't really anybody big. She was an NXT jobber for a while, and then all of a sudden she comes to Impact, and now she's the Knockout champion. So I was surprised they gave it to her right away.
Well, I think... I'm sorry, no, keep going.
I'm happy. I was surprised they gave it to her right away, but I'm very curious. It was a great match. She won me over. I'm happy to see. I'm curious to see how her reign lasts on the new and improved Impact Tuesday nights, 8 o'clock, Access TV, AX.
Well, you know what, dude? After seeing what she can do, I'm more shocked at NXT and WWE for not utilizing her that way.
Good point.
Holy shit.
Great point.
You know, she did not strike me as a jobber. She did not strike me as anyone that should be having like 5-minute matches. This woman could go, man.
Yeah, she did a great job.
She
won everybody over.
Is probably one of the better technical wrestlers in the women's division that I've seen since, I don't know, Natalia maybe.
Wow, you didn't say Charlotte Flair. Wow.
Charlotte Flair is.
Don't go to rant. I'm just kidding.
Okay. I can go all day about Charlotte.
So overall, from our conversation, I'm assuming you guys liked Slammiversary better?
Absolutely. What was your takedown moment for Slammiversary?
I was agreeing with the women's match, the Knockouts Championship match. I thought because I wasn't, I didn't know much about Deonna from what I saw the previous couple weeks on Impact, and wow, that match just blew me away. It was just a fantastic match. Like everything you just talked about, technical aspect of it. I didn't compare it to Bret Hart, but that's a great analogy, and it was a really good match.
Yeah, I'm definitely want to see more of her there, and just that woman roster there, the Knockouts division in Impact, hands down the best woman roster in all the promotions. So I'm definitely curious to see like, how her reign holds up comparatively with all the other rising stars over there.
We'll find out.
And you even have an AEW cast off, Kylie Ray. You know.
Oh, is she from AEW?
She won the Gauntlet for the Gold match, and that's an AEW cast off. You know, she wasn't really in AEW for a while, but that was still big news when she left.
Yeah.
You know, because everyone was wondering why she left. And you know, so you know, she was getting a push too. So they're giving these two women pushes from both rival promotions.
Yeah, sure.
You know, see what happens there.
The woman that I have my eye on over there, Tasha Steelz, man. I think give it a year time, she's going to be a player over there.
I'll find out. Mark the calendar, folks. Mark Schwann said it first. July 2021. See where Tasha Steelz is on Impact.
Hell yeah.
All right, now is the point of the show where we go into our 3-count, Carson. But, I realized every time you're on the show, we play a game with you.
Ooh.
I know you and Mark are very competitive, and I don't really want to spoil anything in the next segment, but you always end up on top. Your wrestling prowess is far superior than Mark Schwann's. I remember the first game we played was Jeopardy. We had to give Mark Schwann some of your points so he could continue to fight on Jeopardy. So, give you another chance. No pressure. You're undefeated here to beat Mark Schwann in another game. You ready to do this?
I'm so ready.
You played one game against me.
I am so ready to defend my trivia champion against Mark Schwann.
I believe it was 2 games, but it's fine. 2-0.
It's Games with Michael J. Putty.
All right, Carson, you ready for this? Again, no pressure. You're undefeated.
Yeah, I got the belt.
So to make it a little fair, I made a wrestling game where you don't need to know too much wrestling knowledge. So give Mark a chance here.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
So what I did, I took our favorite wrestling theme songs, their entrance music.
Ooh.
I translated it into Google Translate to a random language. Then I translated it back to English. You have to tell me whose theme song it is. Okay? So for example,
can we?
I'll give you
Can we get an example around? Yeah.
If we can see Carson's face right now.
I'm going to give you an example. Hulk Hogan's theme song is, when it comes crashing down and it hurts inside, you got to take a stand. It don't help to hide, right?
Yeah.
Iconic. But when translated to Samoan and then back to English, it translates to, when it falls down, then it hurts inside. You have to stand up. It doesn't help. Okay?
Okay.
So I'm going to give you the translated version in the language. Tell me whose theme song it is. It's easy peasy.
Okay. Here we go.
All right, number 1, Russian. Okay? I translated the theme song from Russian back to English. Your time is over. My time is now. My time is now. It's the franchise boy. I'm shining.
John Cena. My time is now.
Well done. Already. 1-0. Fantastic. You getting scared, Mark? You getting a little nervous?
Nope. I'm all good.
All right, 1-0. Mark, Chinese. On this day, I clearly saw everything come to life. Painful places and broken dreams. We will leave it all behind?
Oh, on this day. Yeah, Edge.
Okay, see? Easy. Flowing right through this. Fantastic. 1-1. Carson, you ready? Number 3?
I'm ready, baby.
Hawaiian. Your reason will not get it. There is no other time in hell. One more time. Your reason you will not get it. There is no other time in hell. That's Hawaiian.
I'm stumped. I'll pass the Mark.
Oh, okay. Mark, you have a clue. You have a guess.
Is it Vince McMahon?
Vince McMahon is correct.
Nice.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And thinking about that, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. Oh, wow.
2-1. Wow, Mark. And you get the next question.
Woo!
Well, this is only for a number 1 contenders match. So if he beats me, he's now the number 1 contender. So he's got to beat me again.
Dolph Ziggler, like changing the rules.
Fair enough. Okay.
Yeah.
Ready? This is Punjabi. I hear sounds in my mind. They suggest
Randy Orton.
Okay, wow. Easy. See?
That was a layup.
It's a finger roll, baby.
3-1. Carson, you got to come back here, buddy.
Yep.
This is Mongolian. Everything is expensive. Everyone will pay. Because $1 million always follows his path. Everything is expensive. Everyone will pay. Because $1 million always follows his
path. The $1 Million Man?
That's correct.
Okay. I'm like, it's got to be him.
3-2. Mark, still in the lead here. Ready?
Give him a tough one. Come on.
No, I'm sorry, not this one. This one's easy. Burmese. I think I love you. I'm sexy, I know. I see.
Shawn Michaels.
Okay. 4-2. Carson, you need to come back here. This is a tough one.
Give them layups.
This is a tough one.
Oh, great. Here we go.
And the play, there's a price to pay. It is time to address the proud enemy as a supplement and pray that in the end, a good time to say goodbye. They're not to come back. Watch faces future. That's Latin.
Came to play. The Miz?
The Miz. Okay, good job. 3-4. Right on Mark's heels. Let's do this.
I should get 2 points for that one.
Jeff. Damn, I gave that one away. Never mind. Ready for the next one?
Yeah, no. Yeah. Sorry, Schwan. We're not giving you answers this time again. I'm giving you points. All right?
All right, so there might be a tie here. Damn, that's my bad. Next one. From Scottish Gaelic. You can watch, but you can't rub. You dream of the stars above?
The Bellas.
Nikki Bella, I'll give you that one. All right, right. 5-3. Carson, you need the next two. Swahili. This is a hard one, though. This is a hard one.
Why am I getting all the hard ones?
I don't know. I picked them at random.
Hip hop anonymous.
Noble. I will not stop. I have not given up until I win. I will defend. I will defend. Noble. I will not stop. I have not given up until I win. I will defend. I will defend.
Oh, you're helping them out there.
A little bit, yeah. Noble.
Bobby Roode.
Bobby Roode. Okay, good job.
A.K.A. Jeff Artura.
Thanks.
All right, Mark, this is the last one. Okay, if you get this one, you win. No pressure.
Is it an easy one?
Depends.
Oh boy.
It's from Hindi. Okay.
Okay.
Development is a secret, full of change. The history of the clock is full of history.
Repeat that one.
Development is a secret, full of change. The history of the clock is full of history.
Development of the clock.
Development is a secret, full of change. The history of the clock is full of history. That's from translated from Hindi.
I don't know. Evolution.
Said I don't know, and then evolution. You want it? That's your guess?
Yeah.
Wow! Congratulations.
Really?
Evolution. Yeah. Evolution is a mystery. Development is a secret. Fantastic. Wow.
Wow.
Talk about an upset.
Carson, what have you got on that?
What? No, but honestly, like now hearing it again, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. But no, I wouldn't have guessed evolution.
That one was a hard one.
Wow.
That was tough.
That's why it was a
tough
tiebreaker.
one.
I ruined the fucking Jeff Jarrett one. Damn.
Yes. I beat him.
All right, so you are now the new number one contender for my trivia title.
So now next time Carson on the show is for the title. We've got to think of another Jeopardy game.
Yes, we have to.
I'll
put it up. I'll put the title on the line.
Mark, how's it feel to win one?
Feels good to be a winner right now. You know, during this whole pandemic, I needed to win.
You did. You really did.
I really needed to. God damn it. So thank you.
And listen, Schwan, let me tell you right now, man, this isn't like 50-50 booking here between me and you with this. I'm going to beat you next time.
That's cute. Keep
okay?
doing that.
Yeah.
Keep doing that, man. Whatever makes you sleep better tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Mark, would you say you're Shot of Wrestling trivia champion? Like you are professional wrestling?
I am professional wrestling. The infamous promo. Well, Carson, man, I gotta say, it was good seeing you during the pandemic right here, right now, man.
I know, man. It's a long time, man. We've gone without seeing each other, man. You bunkered up in Yonkers, me out here on the island. I was glad to get on here and see you guys, man.
I know, man. It's been too long, man. So I'm glad you came on. Will you just sign up for the goddamn fantasy league already? God damn.
Oh, shit. You're right. I'm going to do that right now.
Shit.
Well, don't do it right now. Let's finish the show first.
Okay, you're right.
Mark, any go-home thoughts?
No, pretty much just me showing love to Carson. Glad he's here. Can't wait for tomorrow. I'm going to get my hair cut again. Round 2. So I'm excited about that.
That's a prima donna. I've still gotten cut once, and you're doing it twice. What a diva.
Dude, I need to look good, man. I'm still Hollywood.
A lot more.
Even though Hollywood's shut down.
A lot more work you need to do.
Yeah, go fuck yourself, buddy.
Well, New York opened up, right? You can do production opened up in Phase 4 here in New York City.
So they're only allowing 50 people on a set. So that's pretty much.
But you're the star of the show. You're
nothing.
Hollywood Schwan. Don't they know who you are?
There's not much you can do with 50 people. It's going to be like pretty much a low budget film, which doesn't really pay that much.
But something.
So I mean, it's all tough right now, man. Hollywood ain't coming back for a bit.
It's a good sign, though. It's a good start.
Yeah,
Glass half full, Mark. Glass half full.
Progress is better than anything, man. Shit. But there's still a long way to go.
Reigning defending champion Carson Niehoff. Carson, any go home thoughts for you, my friend?
Yes, I have one very important go home thought, and I just want to say for everyone listening to this, man, enjoy the product. Enjoy the access we have to professional wrestling right now. Stop looking through these negative focals every single time.
Please.
Stop hating Vince McMahon because he's a freaking genius, and he's the reason why you are still watching to this day, and he's the reason why professional wrestling is what it is today. So enjoy what you're watching, appreciate what they're doing during these hard times with no fans, and you know, not much to work with. Okay, so stop hating on it on Twitter. Stop hoping WWE fails. Stop hoping AEW beats them. Who cares? How about they both beat each other? How about they both go neck and neck one day, man? So just stop, man. I'm sick of it. Just enjoy what we're seeing, and that's it. That's my go-home thought, man.
Preach, brother. Preach. Well said. I'm tired of the negativity. Yeah. Let's have some positivity stuff. Like
exactly, man.
Glass half full. Let's be.
Nothing's ever going to be perfect. Understand that. There's going to be stinkers. There's going to be great moments. You have to be able to. You have to be willing to accept both of them. That's all.
So, in summation, what Carson just said, Carson will be here next week. Mark, hope to see you sometime soon in the future. Thanks for being here.
Actually, coming up, I do have to take a vacation. So maybe Carson will replace me for that 1 week.
I'm here, boys.
Since they're all locked up in our house in quarantine, I watched a good movie, Palm Springs. It's on Hulu, starring Andy Samberg and Christina Milioti. If you guys want
I heard it was good.
If you guys want a fun movie to watch, just check that out. It's really, really enjoyable.
Speaking of movies, you know what I saw for the first time ever? Finally, The Exorcist.
Ugh.
Scared the shit out of me. That movie's still fucked up, man.
Yes, it is. I watched parts of it as a kid with my friend, and her brother kept like terrorizing us the whole time, so I just never watched it again.
Is that on Netflix now?
It's on HBO Max.
Okay, nice. Got that.
Yeah,
so you got to
check it out if you've never seen it.
You got HBO Max.
What's that? I have HBO Max.
So I just downloaded it because I got a message on my Xbox saying HBO Go they're no longer is going to support it.
Yeah.
So when I downloaded it, before I logged into it, they said it's going to be another $15. That's why I didn't want HBO, because I'm not paying $30 for HBO. But since I have HBO, someone told me it's free. Do you know?
Yes.
So I don't have to pay. I'm not paying twice.
Right.
All right, good. That's what I was worried about.
Yeah, so once I saw HBO Go was leaving, I think I actually already left mine, so I just downloaded HBO Max.
Mine still have a couple days left, so that's what I did with Max, but I was worried about, I don't want to pay $30. I think I'm paying $15 a month for HBO. I don't want to pay $30.
Well, yeah, I tried it out. Like, I was like, all right, let me see, because I heard something like through a grapevine, if you pay for HBO, you get it for free. So I was like, all right, well, let me try it out. Yeah. If I see one thing popping up saying, hey, pay this,
me too.
I'm out. But no, it's free, man.
So when I logged in through my cable company, so I'm hoping that they say, okay, never mind. So I'm looking for my cable bill next month. Anyway, way off topic. Gentlemen, Carson, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me, of course.
Huge asset to the show. The ratings will definitely shut up because of you. Thank you so much for your intelligence and your wrestling knowledge and your beautiful face. Oh,
I appreciate it, man. I want to be on as much as I can. Love talking wrestling with you two fools, man, and going back and forth. Much love, man. Thanks for having me on.
Mark, you're here. So until next week.
Wow, I get no respect whatsoever. So, guys, you can find me.
I have been your host
.com.
at Michael J. Putty. Until next week, stay healthy, wash your hands, don't touch your face, wear your goddamn fucking mask, please. Let's end this as soon as possible. Even the president is now saying it. So please, wear your freaking masks. Putty out. Hey, baby, I hear the bell ringing, hip tosses and body slams. Oh, my. And maybe you seem a bit confused, yeah, baby, but I got you pinned. Ha, 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 ha. But I don't know what to do when I see them with that golden case. They're cashing it in. Authority all in my face. What is a man to do? Good night, everybody.